Hello gamers, Merry Christmas to all of you. We're here today for the classic battle rap of Christmas, so come with me and have a look at it. Hello, welcome back to the channel for the traditional Christmas battle rap. And here we are today in this table covered in snow, and it's not the same battle as last year, it's a completely new one. So here we have in the story is that the Austrian officers and their wives and civilian attending the mass for the Christmas Eve into this church, and they are protected by small forces, and they will have to leave before the French reach them, grab the plans that are in the officer bag. And here we are. This is one objective, and the chart is the second objective, that have to flee away from this road, but as you can see, there are just some enemy in sight that will stop the escape. Special rules for this game is that the Austrians have a small force to protect. The main objective is a 2 battalion, 1st and 2nd battalion here, plus a small unit of Jaeger that will have to escort or protect the officer and the chart. But they have reinforced that are coming, and the magic of the Christmas may or may not help the Austrian to protect the document carried by the officer and the precious cargo and women and the presents on this chart. These are the Austrian reserves, and there are 6 different reserves that you can see. It's a small brigade of Jaeger and Grenzen here. One unit one reserve is a battery of 3 horse artillery. One unit is made by 2 battalion of grenadier. Another one is made by a large battalion of infantry and a large battalion of landwehr, plus a small unit of Jaeger. Then 2 separate a small brigade of light cavalry, Lance here and Hussars down here. Every number corresponds to the number that they will arrive as reserve. Starting from the second turn onwards, the Austrian will receive 1 random reserve that will arrive from one side of the table, one of the 2 long table edge, or at the back of the French line, or far away on this short table edge. But the Austrian can spend 3 magic Christmas in the form of the 2 Frosty, Jack Frosty, and the chart of the present. When they spend, they may choose the side for their reserve to arrive, but they cannot choose what kind of reserves will arrive. They will arrive randomly, roll it on a d6. The aim of the Austrian, as I said, is to escort the officer and the chart outside that far point down there along the road. If they fail to escort it, but they persevere to capturing, this too is a draw. Otherwise, if the officer or the chart are caught by the French, is a French small victory. If they caught the chart with the wife and the present, a large victory if they capture the officer objective. The French are on the hunt, but winter storm has dispersed the force. So as for the Austrian, they will arrive randomly, but they will arrive on this side here or the 2 long table edge. They cannot arrive from the rear line of the Austrian. Okay. On the table it starts a small Polish brigade made of 2 units of Polish infantry, 1 unit of Polish voltigeur, a Leger downgraded, and a unit of Polish lancers. The French reserves will arrive from turn 3 and are this 3 brigadier. One brigade made all of Leger, 3 battalion and 1 detachment. One brigade made of 3 line battalion and 1 detachment, and 1 cavalry brigade made of 2 chasseurs en cheval, 1 unit of dragoon and 1 unit of dragoon with dismounted dragoon. They may mount and dismount. They use the rule for the dragoon taken by the 30 Years War home rules. I very like it, so I use it. And that's it, they will arrive. To capture the chart or the officer is needed that the attached battalion, 1 or 2, were routed, then their prize is taken. It could be retaken by the Austrian and with the same rule, so crushing the battalion that hold the objective. At the end of the game, after 8 complete turn, we will see if the Austrian managed to save the Christmas this year, or the French will grab their objective. The last rule is that the snow-covered terrain slow down cavalry and infantry. Cavalry cannot move more than 12 inches, infantry cannot move more than 8 inches in column or 6 inches if they are in line. And that's it, the road has no particular route. So that's it, now moving into the first turn. A couple of turns just passed and they're very quick as usual. The Austrian, despite that their commander is an inept, so no free activation, has successfully moved forward the 2 battalion. The light Polish line inflict 1 casualty into the main battalion here, while the Polish lancers charge into the Hussars without any fear and cause 2 casualty to the elite cavalry of the Austrian, taking no one in return. Austrian received cavalry and spent immediately 1 of the Jack Frosty to get them enter on the flank. And so Major Wojciechowski pushes Polish forward, awaiting the reserve that is going to come. But now the return of the Austrian could be dangerous, because both the battalion are in mass formation and they can move forward and easily charge the Polish. So we'll see. We're back after a few turns to tell you how the battle is going on. The 2 armies emerged from the blizzard pretty quick, and the Austrian this time do not spend any Christmas bonus, but roll a force or enter on the flank of the Polish with their large battalion and the other large battalion here, while the Jäger takes possession of the wood. But right behind them, the brigade of the French line infantry also enter from the same spot. So the next turn promised to be very bloody, with a charge and counter-charge. The cavalry struggle, and the lancers were repelled after taking 4 casualty and passed their morale. Then after being shaken, they also shaken 1 of the 2 hussars. But the situation is very crowded place and very promising of a bloodbath that will start in the turn that is going to start. On this quiet side at the moment, the light battalion inflict another casualty to the Austrian battalion, but that's it. And now we'll move into the Austrian turn to see if they can break the first stage of the blockade. We'll see. It promised to be bloody, and bloody it was. A lot of happened in this 2 turn, 1 Austrian, 1 French. Starting here, this mass of infantry charge and destroy the Leger, then being countercharged by the partner Polish battalion, and both of them and shaken. Cavalry rally successfully and remain on the field. Here, the large battalion was charged in the rear from this unit here, and they failed their morale. but use the well-disciplined card to save themselves from being crushed. They are shaken now. The reserve, you can see, has arrived, and the cavalry again on this flank emerged, and they started to have some problem. The voltige put one casualty into the Jaeger counterpart into the woods, while this unit here, with surprise attackers, moved forward and charged the exhausted hussars, crushing them into the middle. And finally here, the Landwehr, charging the front by this column of assault, has taken 4 casualties by hold the line, and in return they inflict 3 casualties to the French, and the sheer number of the Austrian militia successfully fight back the French. And that's it. It's a very, very bloody turn, but now the forces are so crowded in this part of the field that the next turn should be as bloody as before, and something will happen to clear the path or hold the Austrian on the spot. The Austrian turn was devastating for the blocking force. The Polish brigade is quite destroyed. This unit was destroyed by the combined attack of the 2 mass battalion. Here the Lancers take 1 casualty from the fire and then was wiped out by the Hussars. And here they successfully rally and push into the French, routing them. Now the French turn has begun, and after the movement where the cavalry redeploying, this unit here has charged in the rear of the Hussars, trying to protect the poor Polish that disengaged from the large battalion engaged in the rear by this unit of French to face the incoming Austrian grenadier, which spanning another miracle of Christmas attack from the back of the French. Now it's turn for the French reserve to come into the fray, and the last reserve is the Leger Brigade, which arrive on the back of the Austrian. Well done. So we'll see at the end of this turn. This battle is so quick and bloody that will end probably before the reach of the concorded turn. The French also arrive as last reserve here in the back, but the Austrian exploited a perfect turn. With a surprise attack, this grenadier charged the 1st battalion and crushed him badly. Here they combined assault on the front and the rear from this mass battalion, and the other grenadier finish off the last Polish unit, while on the side the cavalry arrived, the Uhlans arrived here, treating the rear of the Dragoon, and the other Uhlan down there treating this chasseur en cheval. So now we see in the French turns they managed to try to blockade again the road, because there are few units now that can stop both the units. We'll see if the Austrians managed to escape or not. It was a disastrous turn for the French. The Eisenhower and the Blitzer strike the messenger, and so too brigade failed to activate. The Leger here shaken the grenadier, and they do their best, hitting 4 times on 4 dice. But this brigade of line here has failed to activate. Have to spend a card to charge at least with 1 unit that crush one of the escort and capture the officer, but they sit in the middle, while also the cavalry failed to activate, remaining prone to the Austrian turn that will surely charge into them and benefit from this misunderstanding into the rank of the French. Now moving into the Austrian to see they can exploit the advantage or not. Just because it's Christmas, the Austrian sent back the favor to the French, and the grenadier refused to activate. But here the graceful of the Austrian end, because this battalion here, despite being shaken, hit 4 times on 5 and crushing the Leger in front of them. I spent a card to move this and block the way to protect the flank of this exhausted unit. On this side, the brave Dragoons, despite being charged in the rear, fight back and destroy the wounded Uhlans, while this other unit of lance charge and shaking the unit of chasseur and cheval, taking one casualty in return. The reserves arrive on the worst possible spot, but is an Orsatilla, so quite quick. They are just deployed, and now we'll see in the next turn if they manage to do something. But now it's the French turn. Probably one of the turning point to turn if the French manage to stop the Austrian. Otherwise, I will see that could be very difficult for them to stop at least one, if not two, of the objectives. This one must be retaken, but the Grenadier are there in front and they are quite shaken, almost shaken. And finally the French Leger break the resistance of the Austrian, which inflict 4 casualty on 5 dice, but this time is not enough, because they also inflict 4 casualty and they are the attacker, so they have to test and go on. Here they hold and shaken their counterpart, but their flank is threatened by both infantry and cavalry. But now coming the Austrian turn. Cavalry for the French, dragoon and chasseurs move forward, because this objective here is remained without score, is destroyed, so everyone can take it. There are infantry down there and nothing else, so we will see they are shaken into the woods. And now start the new Austrian turn with his last reserve, which is decisive to see from where it comes. Both the sides are quite exhausted on the battlefield, and there's no turn red for the blood. And you can see the last reserves arrives on this side, the 2 Grenzen and the Jäger battalions. In the French turn, they failed to activate, put them in a very bad condition, but the Grenadier was destroyed and the officer is still free but without escort, while the exhausted shaken Dragoon reach this objective. And the rest of the French is coming, but also the Austrian is coming. So the clash will continue till the last moment. We'll see if they manage to open the way or not. We decided to duplicate the turn because the very 4-1 pass so quickly, so now at the end of this more turn must be played or the game will end with a crashing of one of the parts into the battle. So we'll see now it's start the Austrian turn, which have no more reserves but need to reconquer his officer and the chariot with the wives and the presents. At the end of the Austrian turn, the Leger was practically wiped out, just one detachment of Voltigeur remained into the woods. The objective is still there, but only Austrian try to control them. And this is the last unit of infantry, the Grognard, not the 2 Grognard, but they remain themselves, plus this detachment here, this cavalry, and this dragoon on foot, to try to stop, at least to escape, if not to control the objective. But the Austrians not so well, because this large battalion is exhausted, and the same as the Grenzen, the Jäger into the woods, so we'll see. Finally, the artillery paid, because their shoot crushed the light cavalry, while the combined skirmish and musketry from Grenzen, Jäger, and the detachment of Jäger also forced them to flee the field. So there's no more cavalry. No, sorry, there is still one out of command. So we see now moving into the French turn. Turn of transition for the French. They rally on the banner and recover 1 casualty. They try to hold this. At the moment they are quite safe from charging, but it's just a matter of time. Cavalry failed to activate, so nothing happened. Now moving into the Austrian turn. After the French turn, objective has changed hand another time, and this brave Grognard here charged the Uhlans and rout them in a flurry of bayonets and short-ranged fire, and they take the officer with them, but they are surrounded by Austrians. So now they have to withstand the last 6th turn, protecting the objective against all odd. The cavalry has moved forward to try to help, but the situation is hard for the French. They will try to fall back in good order if they manage to do it, but they have to survive this Austrian turn. The South Tyrolese Jäger finish off the French Guignard and recover the officer, which now is firmly in the Austrian end, while the Voltigeur here hold against the Grenzen. The last hope for the French is discovery here, while the commander passes fortitude test and no other defeat was inflicted. And now with a surprising discipline, the Lander recover all their fatigue and are ready to fight. Now that no one to fight, they are ready to fight. Yeah, moving into the next French turn. And when the 5th turn left, the French resistance crumbled and only 2 detachments are on the field at the moment. One is also shaken, surrounded by artillery and with all the objective at a 3 movement from the safeness. So I concede and offer the victory to this Christmas Batrep to the Austrian. And so that's it. The game is over, and it was a decisive victory for the Austrian, which have a few bad moments when French arrive in their back and in their flank, but with a show of incredible discipline, they pass almost all the valor and fortitude tests they came to take as a soul, and in the end they save enough troop, while the French failed miserably every or almost every single valor test that was taken to take, especially this side here, the infantry here and the Leger failed constantly every single test that was taken to test. And all in all, it was not a balanced scenario, but with the dice that put the Austrian that come randomly on the table, and for all the game they enter essentially where they needed the most, 3 times thanks to the Christmas magic and 3 times by themselves. Even the horse battery with their speed, they entered into the fray quite quickly and was, if not essential, very useful to turn the tide of the battle. A special mention for the nothingness is go to the Landwehr, which did absolutely nothing. He entered, he received a charge, all the charge, then he did absolutely nothing apart recover from the fear of face the French and the Christmas Eve. And that's it for this Batrep and probably for this year. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, happy holiday to all of you, and happy wargaming. May the new year bring you lots of model, lots of time to play with our games. Again, hello and happy wargaming.